Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Turn Up the Tempo, Lyrical Odyssey Rockstar Series Book 4 by Charli B. Rose, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Prologue, Brittany, months ago. Love in an elevator. The shiny elevator doors closed with a quiet thump, shutting us away from the hotel lobby and any prying eyes. I pressed the circular number 3 and stepped back once it lit up. Though the elevator car was of standard size and only 2 of us occupied the space, the cube felt way too small. Alone at last, he stalked over to where I leaned against the back wall. My heart raced as his mouth crashed into mine. I'd imagined kissing him all night. His lips were softer than I'd envisioned. I'd been mesmerized by them while we danced earlier at the party. The flash of metal in his mouth I'd glimpsed while we talked and laughed had intrigued me. I'd never made out with a guy whose tongue was pierced, or done any other things with a guy who was pierced. He nipped my lower lip, then licked it with the tip of his tongue, soothing the slight pinch. My lips parted on a gasp, which he took full advantage of. A hint of cinnamon hit my taste buds. A shiver ran down my spine as the smooth, cool metal ball stroked against my tongue. I gave his tongue a gentle suck, eliciting a groan from him. Long, calloused fingers speared into my hair to direct my head and change the angle of our kiss. Heat flickered along the surface of my skin as his tongue dipped deeper into my mouth. I wound one arm around his shoulders, holding on tightly as my knees turned to jelly. My other hand fisted his shirt to make sure he had no plans of moving away from me anytime soon. Feather-light, he ran his fingers down my side to grip my thigh. The pressure of his skin against mine at the hem of my dress was delicious. He leaned further into me as he dragged his hand back up my leg, slowly lifting the edge of my dress higher and higher. I tightened my hold on his shirt, clutching him closer as I rubbed against the dark denim of his jean-clad thigh. With a heavy sigh, he disconnected his lips from mine. "Say yes, Angel," he murmured in my ear huskily. I leaned back to peer into his face, shivering a little over the term of endearment. Prepared to pout at the loss of his mouth on mine, I whispered, "Say yes to what?" Lust's heavy eyes bored into mine, searching for something. "Let me lick your pussy till you come on my face," he rasped as his fingers inched toward my inner thigh. My blood boiled with need. I moaned, "Yes, please." I was delirious with want. I wanted that. God, did I want that. I wanted him everywhere now. The elevator dinged as it came to a stop, causing him to step back slightly from me. When the doors opened, we stumbled out into the hallway, drunk on arousal and lust. Without another word, I linked my fingers with his and led the way to the room I'd booked earlier in the day. Chapter 1. Brittany. Going to the chapel. Going to the chapel blared in the room, yanking me from slumber. "What the hell?" I mumbled as I buried my head beneath the pillow, desperately trying to block the cheerful sound. We'd stayed up too late talking and laughing to be awake right now. A muffled voice filtered through the mound of cotton filling. I snuggled deeper into the mattress. Before I could drift off, the pillow was yanked away and Izzy said, "Here she is, Bianca." I cracked one eye open to peek at Izzy, who was holding her phone out to me. "Good morning, Brittany," Bianca said cheerfully over speakerphone. "Ugh, is it morning already? I feel like we just went to sleep," I grumbled. "Brittany, I need you to focus," came the directive through the tiny speaker. "I'll try." I propped my heavy head up on my other elbow, trying to pay attention to the wedding dictator giving orders in my ear. "This is your first wake-up call. As Izzy's maid of honor, it's your job to make sure she's up and ready to be picked up by 11 for the bridesmaid brunch. Can you handle that, or do I need to come over there and get you guys going?" Bianca threatened in that sweet, efficient way that made her a world-class event planner and owner of Starstruck Events. "I've got it. As soon as we hang up, I'll set the alarm on the phone to wake us up in a couple of hours," I promised. Today was Izzy's big day. There was no way I'd let her down. "And do not let Dawson see her," Bianca ordered. "Aye, aye, Captain," I said and saluted though she couldn't see me. Izzy giggled next to me. "I'll meet you ladies at brunch. Now, I'm off to make sure things are being set up properly at Greystone. Bye." With that, the call ended. Before I drifted off again, I set the alarm on the phone and turned the volume wide open. "You weren't ready to get up yet, were you?" I asked Izzy, who was covered in blankets on the other side of the gigantic bed. We'd decided to have a sleepover the night before her big day, just like we used to when we were teenagers. It was a night of ice cream, chick flicks, and gossip after the rehearsal dinner. We'd talked until we'd fallen asleep in the guest room I'd taken up residence in at her and Dawson's home. Negative ghostwriter drifted from somewhere under the mountain of covers. Thank God. At least we weren't hungover. We were just tired. A couple more hours of slumber should fix that. Loud guitar strumming filled my ears. I jerked up in bed and rubbed my eyes. Beside me, Izzy popped up like she'd slept for 12 hours. "Where's the concert?" I asked, yawning deeply. "It's the alert for my alarm clock. I recorded Dawson playing his electric guitar loudly," she explained as she shut the song off. "I don't recognize the song." I frowned as I pushed the blankets down. "It's not one the guys have released. It's one he wrote just for me." "For us," she stammered, blushing furiously. "Did Dawson write you a sex song?" I teased. A pillow smacked me in the head. "Oh my God, he did!" I squealed. "Play it again." "I will not. It's special just for the two of us," she said, and stashed her phone in her pocket. She ran off to the shower before I could grill her more. Shaking my head, I headed to the guest bathroom. Less than an hour later, we were on our way to a little out-of-the-way place for brunch. "Is traffic always like this?" I complained as we came to a stop. Yet again. Izzy shrugged. "You get used to it. It's not usually this bad during the week at this time of day. I think most people just get a late start on the weekends." "So I meant to ask you last night, what's the status with the trial? I saw on the news that Casey was ordered to undergo a psychiatric evaluation before the trial could start, but I haven't seen anything since then." Izzy let out a heavy sigh and slumped back against the seat. "She's still being evaluated. Dawson's lawyer has been keeping tabs on the progress. He called a couple of days ago to tell us that the assistant district attorney in Ohio passed along the defense's latest claims. They said Casey was briefly suffering from a bout of depression combined with delusional ideas that Dawson is her soulmate, but she's realized that he isn't going to be with her, and she vows that she's not a danger to herself or anyone else. Her doctors have apparently suggested that with medication and therapy, she can be a functional member of society. They want a plea deal pending the last of the evaluations." "A deal?" "She stalked Dawson for years. She drugged and attacked you, then held you at gunpoint. Who knows what she would have done if Dawson hadn't come in when he did. What kind of deal do they want?" I asked incredulously. "They want her released into her parents' custody, for her to pay restitution, be on probation for 5 years, and do 1,000 hours of community service. No jail time. She'd have to keep up with her therapy and medication." Izzy ticked the requirements off on her fingers. I leaned forward. "What the hell? That's hardly punishment for kidnapping." "It was her first offense, and her family is really influential in that area. The ADA is afraid he may be forced to accept the deal because of her father's contributions to the head district attorney's re-election campaign. I just want her out of our lives and to not have to worry about her popping up anymore." Izzy sounded so defeated. A frown tugged her lips down. I leaned over and gave her a hug. "Enough negative talk. It's your big day. I'm sorry I brought that up." "Don't worry about it. I've tried not to think about it too much, and I don't really talk about it with Dawson. He still feels guilty that his relationship with me put me in danger." She absent-mindedly spun her engagement ring around on her finger. "That's ridiculous. He never put you in harm's way on purpose," I scoffed. "You know that. I know that. Everyone else knows that. I think even deep down Dawson knows that too. He just can't quite get the images out of his head." She shuddered, obviously reliving those terrifying moments. Our conversation was interrupted by the back door being opened by one of the security guys who drove the band around. "Looks like we're here." Izzy climbed out, and I followed suit. With our bellies full, the entire bridal party piled into the Rolls-Royce of party buses. We drove across town to an upscale spa where we were going to be treated to full-on pampering. After manicures and pedicures, we were escorted to a room that felt very zen. Water trickled in a fountain in the center. The lighting was dim, and the scent of lavender permeated the air. We each disrobed and climbed into padded massage tables. Strong hands began to knead the flesh of my shoulders. "You're very tense," a soft voice remarked. Must be all the pre-wedding running around," I commented. "And the lack of a job or a home, not to mention the anxiety that coursed through my veins at the mere thought of seeing certain male members of Dawson's half of the wedding party." "Are you nervous about hanging out more with Wilder?" Izzy asked from beside me. Why would I be nervous to hang out with my friend? I asked stiffly. You really need to relax, miss, the masseuse scolded. Okay, not nervous exactly, but excited. Wilder was thrilled when I told him you'd be staying at our place to dog sit while we're on our honeymoon, as he said. I do enjoy hanging out with Wilder. He's laid back, and man, can he dance. My heart raced just imagining dancing with him again. I hadn't danced with a partner who could match my moves like Wilder in a long time. You two sure can cut a rug. I bet that translates well off the dance floor, too. You guys looked so hot together at the AMA's after party. And then you got to spend some time together in Vegas last month. I know you said you're just friends, but he lights up when he hears your name. I think he'd be open to more, Izzy said in a low tone. She waggled her eyebrows at me, making me burst out in laughter. Izzy, you know relationships aren't my thing. It's not something I want, I protested. She pouted. I know, but I think you only say that because you're scared, Izzy said softly as she reached over to grip my hand. Relationships are scary. Not everyone finds what you and Dustin have, and I'm okay with that. Speaking of relationships, I was kind of surprised that you invited Beckett to the wedding, and even more surprised that he's coming, I said, changing the subject. I know some people don't stay friends with their exes, but in our case, we had to agree not to let it be awkward. I mean, he's still my doctor. We needed to maintain a good relationship. Besides, he's bringing a +1, so he's definitely moved on, Izzy shrugged. Hey, ladies, Izzy's cousin April called out as she waltzed in and settled herself onto an empty massage table. My mom said y'all were here and you wouldn't mind me joining you for an afternoon of pampering. Of course not. I'd have extended the invitation to you myself, but I wasn't sure what time your plane was arriving. Izzy hastened to explain why she'd originally left her annoying cousin out of her plans. April moaned loudly as the newly added masseur kneaded her skin. This is a great way to spend the afternoon. I'll be loose and relaxed for your reception. Glad to hear it, Izzy replied. Need to be limber so I can get my groove on with Brooks. I'm hoping we can pick up where we left off at your parents' anniversary party, Izzy. She lifted her head and lowered her voice conspiratorially. I paid a visit to my salon before I boarded the plane. Got a Brazilian wax just in case. I growled under my breath at the thought of April's flirty ways. Ow! I winced when the gentle hands working my muscles tweaked a sore spot. You need to relax, the soft voice reprimanded me. I can only do so much. I took a deep breath and decided to change the subject. So, Sky, how are your wedding plans going? Ugh, they aren't. I mean, since I want a simple service, there's not a lot to plan, but we haven't settled on a date, she explained. You'll find the perfect date. Don't stress. You've got time. You said you have to wait until after your sister has her baby, right? Izzy asked. Yeah, the baby buzz is running high in our family. They just found out last week that she's having a girl. Everyone is so excited. I already bought a ton of cute little dresses, Sky gushed. A few minutes of contented silence filled the room. I peered around the dimly lit space. Everyone looked so much more relaxed than I felt. I was kind of surprised Gina didn't tag along today, Cleo observed. Sky scoffed and rolled her eyes, but didn't comment on Maddox's fiancé. I know we all kind of hung out in Vegas with her, but I still haven't had a chance to really forge a connection with her. She hasn't been available the couple of times I invited her to do something. I know I'll have to make more of an effort once we get back from our honeymoon. If she's going to be part of the band family, I want her to feel welcome, Izzy said diplomatically. I happened to be watching Sky as Izzy spoke. She shook her head sadly at the words. There was definitely more to her friendship with Maddox than I'd thought. Or maybe Sky just really disliked Gina. I could see that as a possibility. I hadn't cared for her when I met her a while back, but she wasn't engaged to my best friend. I closed my eyes and forced myself to breathe deeply. The stress was going to melt from my body, even if I had to light it on fire myself.